In today's video, I'm diving deep into a topic that so many women in their 40s and 50s struggle with: perimenopause weight gain, especially stubborn belly fat. I want you to walk away from this video with a clear understanding of not only why this happens to your body, but also a realistic science-based game plan that you can start implementing today to reduce or even prevent perimenopause weight gain. So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. I'm gonna try and break everything down in the easiest way to understand. I'm gonna quickly go over what perimenopause is and what's actually happening in your body, why weight gain, especially around the midsection, becomes more common, what changes you need to make in your training and your workouts once perimenopause hits, nutrition and lifestyle strategies to follow without falling into the stop eating altogether diet trap. And then lastly, how to piece all this together in a weekly plan for success. So as always, I wanna get right into it, but of course, if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you get a notification whenever I release a new video, just like this one, every single week. My name is Michelle Roots, kinesiologist, personal trainer, nutrition coach with over 19 years experience in the industry, helping people increase lean muscle and decrease body fat to become the strongest, leanest, healthiest versions of themselves. And I created this channel because I want to help you as well. Let's start by briefly going over what is perimenopause. Put simply, perimenopause is the transitional phase before menopause. This is when ovarian function begins to decline, a woman's hormonal levels start to fluctuate, and the body is gradually shifting towards menopause. Perimenopause in some women can start as early as their late 30s, but more commonly in the early to mid 40s, and can last several years, up to 4 to 10 years, until the last menstrual period. So when we talk about hormone fluctuations, what does that even mean? A lot of people say, oh, it's your hormones, don't worry, it's your hormones. But a lot of women don't have a real general understanding of what's happening to their hormones, what hormones are being affected in perimenopause, and how that is affecting how your body's functioning. So let's start with estrogen and progesterone functions. In perimenopause, estrogen levels start to become more erratic, so more ups and downs, but overall general levels start to decline. And then progesterone, which is secreted after ovulation, decreases more steadily as less ovulation is happening. So what is the impact of a decrease in estrogen in our bodies? Drops in estrogen can affect your appetite and your hunger, because estrogen helps regulate your appetite and your body weight by influencing the hypothalamus. And when it drops, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, increases, which would lead to increase in hunger and cravings. Lower estrogen also shifts how your body stores fat, from usually subcutaneous fat, which is fat just underneath the skin in your hips and your thighs. It's gonna shift that fat storage to visceral fat, and that's the fat deep within your abdomen around your organs. This leads to higher belly fat and an increased risk of insulin resistance. If you wanna know more about visceral fat, I have an entire video already on my channel talking all about visceral fat right here. I will link that video in the description below if you want to go watch that next. And then with that decrease in estrogen, your metabolism is affected, because estrogen supports our lean muscle, which in turn affects your metabolism. When the estrogen decreases, our muscle mass can naturally decrease, which in turn slows down our metabolism and can lead to weight gain, even if you're just eating the same amount you always did. And then one other thing with a decrease in estrogen, it could cause more fluid retention and bloating. This can make your weight feel unpredictable day to day. And then with that progesterone decreasing, this can affect your sleep quality. When progesterone levels fall, sleep disruptions and insomnia are very common. And then poor sleep leads to increased cortisol hormone and cravings. And then with testosterone levels decreasing, that affects your muscle maintenance. Testosterone, just like estrogen, supports lean muscle and strength. Less testosterone equals less muscle mass, which equals slower metabolic rate. Lower testosterone can also lead to fatigue, reduce motivation to work out, can make staying active and getting your workouts in so much harder. So in turn, with that decrease in muscle mass, a decrease in testosterone can lead to higher body fat percentage and a shift in your body composition, so looking less toned. And then let's talk about insulin. Estrogen keeps your insulin sensitivity high. So as estrogen drops, insulin sensitivity also drops. So this is our blood sugar control. So lower estrogen means more insulin resistance, which makes it harder for our body to use carbs effectively. And then excess insulin promotes body fat storage, especially in the midsection, and then can be associated with more cravings and energy crashes. So to sum it up, our bodies in perimenopause are completely changing. So things that you did in your 20s and your 30s to either stay fit, the things you ate, to look a certain way, and that plan was working for you, all of these hormonal shifts and changes going on in our body means we also have to change the way we eat and the way we train to adapt to what's going on in our body to continue to not only stay healthy, but stay strong and feel good through this next phase of life. So now that you got a brief rundown of all the madness that either is about to happen to you or that is happening to you with your hormones, let's talk about why these changes in hormones can lead to weight gain or lead to increased belly fat. I already touched base on it a little bit when I was talking about the different hormones, but let's just go over it again to make sure you have a better understanding. So the first reason is, again, that shift in storage programming, meaning as your estrogen declines, your body tends to lean away from storing fat peripherally, so subcutaneous fat in the hips and thighs. And now your body tends to take that body fat storage into visceral fat, which is deep within our organs, which is more metabolically active and much more harmful. And visceral fat is strongly tied to insulin resistance, inflammation, and metabolic disease risk. So again, this shift in fat storage programming could be why you feel like all of a sudden you have more belly fat than you did a few years ago. I just want to take a minute to thank today's video sponsor, Element, one of my go-tos for replenishing my electrolytes after sweaty workouts. Electrolytes are so important for so many functions in the body, including hormonal regulation, nutrient absorption, and fluid balance. Sometimes water just isn't enough, and Element has the perfect balance of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. And better yet, 0 artificial sweeteners, no sugar, so no junk. Element can help prevent and eliminate headaches, muscle cramps, fatigue, sleeplessness, and other common symptoms of electrolyte deficiency. Right now, you can get a free 8-count sample pack of Element's most popular drink mix flavors with any purchase. Get yours at drinkelement.com/Michelle. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/Michelle. Another thing I mentioned was your insulin sensitivity decreasing. With the decline in estrogen, your insulin sensitivity is also decreasing. So when you eat carbs, especially simple carbohydrates, your blood sugar now is going to spike higher and spike longer than it did before. So more is going to get stored as fat possibly, and you're gonna feel more sluggish. Another reason is energy balance becomes tighter. So for example, if you are not on a regular strength training program, at least trying to maintain the muscle mass you have, our bodies are losing muscle at a much faster rate than we were in our 30s. With that decrease in muscle mass, your metabolism is going to naturally slow down. So the amount of calories your body burns in a day, your resting metabolic rate is going to decrease. So that means if you're eating the same amount of calories that you did a few years ago and were able to maintain on that, that amount of calories is going to go down. So what was once maybe a calorie deficit or maintenance could now be a calorie surplus, which could lead to weight gain. Another effect is feeling different, feeling tired, feeling sluggish. Just at this age, you are busy as a woman. We are running businesses, we are working, we've got kids, we've got partners, we've got parents, we've got everybody else to look after, and it's very common that women this age find it harder to find time to exercise and get their workouts in just because of the phase of life and how busy we all are if we're not making it a priority, and maybe just a general decrease in daily activity, so non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which again decreases calorie burn throughout the day and also causes muscle loss, in turn decreasing metabolism and could lead to weight gain. Then we talk about poor sleep, waking up throughout the night, emotional stress. These all push cortisol higher, and chronically elevated cortisol can promote fat storage, especially in the abdomen. It's going to increase appetite and disrupt your hunger hormones, so ghrelin and leptin. So that's just a general rundown. Of course, every body is different, every woman is different, and everyone is going to have a different experience, but this is a general science-backed reason as to why during perimenopause you might experience unexplained weight gain, belly fat weight gain, and I hope you have a better understanding now of what's happening in your body and why this is happening. So now that we know what's happening, what is a realistic game plan? So now if you're in your 40s, what you did in your 20s and your early 30s is no longer working to stay lean, stay strong, feel good in your body, feel energized. What's the game plan for our 40s and our 50s and beyond to stay strong, to stay healthy, and more importantly, feel good both mentally and physically? Here's a basic roadmap of what to add, what to remove, and what to adjust once perimenopause hits when it comes to your physical activity and your workout. Number one, your mindset. This is probably the hardest one for many women, at least the ones that I work with. It's very hard. But I always say, Change your mindset, change your life. You have to shift your mindset with the goal of body recomposition and overall health versus just weight loss. And I say this with very firm hands because it is so important to not only, again, feel mentally great, but feel physically great. The major key, if you can shift your mindset from just relying on that number on the scale to tell you your worth and your value, to body composition and overall general health throughout the rest of your life, you have already won the game. You want to focus on improving your body composition, meaning decreasing body fat and either maintaining the muscle mass you have or gaining muscle, rather than just chasing a number on the scale. Monitor not just your weight, your strength, your energy, how your clothes are fitting, health markers, so your overall blood panels, and just how you're feeling, how you're sleeping, all the things on a day-to-day basis versus just, again, that number on the scale. Because especially now that you've been educated on all the hormones and all the changes that are happening in your body, you can have a better understanding that if your goal is only weight loss and you are only using that number on the scale to determine your worth and if you're seeing progress, you could be losing muscle mass and body fat. If you see that number go down on the scale, it could be 50% body fat and 50% muscle loss. And this is the last thing we want during this phase of life. You just learned early in the video how important muscle mass is, and that as we age, as women, we are losing muscle at a faster rate, and we need to hold on as much as we can, not only to keep our metabolism high, but to feel strong. Second thing, your training and your exercise strategy. So here's how training should evolve in perimenopause versus your younger years. So in your 20s and 30s, you might have got away with just doing cardio, and lifting light weights. But now the stakes are higher. We need to really focus on strength training because increasing or at least maintaining the muscle mass we have is major key to preserve our metabolism and our strength and function in life. And it's never too late to start. So if you're watching this and you are already in perimenopause and you're like, oh no, I haven't been strength training. Oh no, is it too late? It's never too late. You can start at any point in time. It is never too late to start lifting weights, getting strong, and building your muscle. So your main focus during this phase should be aiming for 2 to 3 strength training sessions per week, focusing on progressive overload, heavy weights, and whatever heavy looks like for you. I have so many other videos on my channel about progressive overload and strength training. You can go do a search after if you need more specific information. You wanna add 1 to 2 high intensity interval training sessions or sprint interval training sessions or metabolic circuits. This is gonna boost mitochondrial adaptability and insulin sensitivity. And then you just wanna sprinkle that throughout your week with just lower intensity workouts. So zone 2 cardio or just walking. For example, what a week could look like. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is your strength training workouts. Tuesday is going to be a long walk or a zone 2 cardio session. Thursday is going to be a high intensity interval training session and maybe some stretching or some core work or some yoga or Pilates, whatever you like to do. And then maybe Saturday is a long walk and Sunday is a rest day. What you want to make sure you're doing is giving your body enough recovery, especially after your strength training workouts, because our muscles are building when we're recovering. You don't need to be doing long hours of cardio, worrying about how many calories your watch said. If you are strength training, do not worry about the calorie burn in your watch. Worry about building the muscle, pushing your body to build muscle. And of course, our heart health determines our high intensity interval training sessions, metabolic circuits, or walking and zone 2 cardio. So again, you can tailor the plan based on you specifically, but do not think you need to be going hard, dripping puddle of sweat, destroyed 7 days a week to see results. That's our workouts. What's our nutrition strategy for this phase of life? Probably what I say in every other video, almost every other video. Protein, protein, protein. So protein is the building block of muscle. We need to make sure we are eating our protein spread out throughout the day. You're not eating all your protein in one meal, and you can emphasize that protein in your pre and post workout meals as well, especially your strength training workouts to help with muscle building and muscle recovery. You want to emphasize nutrient dense foods, vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, seeds, quality fat like olive oil, avocado, fatty fish, moderate carbohydrates, so we don't have to go on a low carbohydrate diet, Carbohydrates are very important, but we just want to decrease the processed foods and keep our carbohydrates at a moderate level. And then a focus on fiber. This is something I really focus on with a lot of my clients because I realize that not a lot of people are getting enough fiber in their diet. And in this phase specifically, we really need to focus on fiber intake. You can eat at maintenance or you can eat in a moderate calorie deficit, but not too steep that you are going to sacrifice muscle mass or do damage to your metabolism. You want to think, I'm eating to fuel my body to build muscle and decrease body fat and to be able to have enough energy to do my workouts and push hard in my workouts and just function in life and keep my metabolism fueling up and burning versus just a really, really steep calorie deficit. So there you go, guys. That is the roadmap to perimenopause. I tried to keep it in the simplest and easiest way to understand. Now, of course, I am not a doctor. Any further questions regarding you and your specific body and your hormones, book in, go see your doctor, ask questions, get all the information you can. Comment below anything you've experienced or what have you done that has helped you or what have you changed, or if you're in it. If this video is helpful, let me know in the comments below. And if you need more help with your workouts or your nutrition, whether or not you are in perimenopause or menopause or whatever phase you are in life, you can learn more about working with me one-on-one in my online fitness and nutrition coaching program. I will leave a link to that program in the video description below. As always, have a great day, guys, and I will see you in the next one.